fucking hate musicals. I hate them. I can't get past the fact that people are randomly singing. I don't think anyone ever breaks out into song. I hate that you're choreographing your singing and your dancing. It makes me want to die.
How are you doing, Kaylee?
I'm good. Welcome back, everybody.
Episode 6.
Oh, man. In my head, it feels like episode 1.
You were getting there.
I know. Thank you to everyone who's tuning in. We hope that you're still tuning in after episode 1. You still feel somewhat amused / entertained. If you're just coming on the scene, welcome to the Nonsexual Soulmates universe, where we talk about a little bit of everything and with a little sprinkle of snarky.
And laughter. And sassiness.
And I think we've already had some tears. We had some misty eyes, if you will.
Yeah. It's true. Do you have any questions for the week? I know you always have questions.
I know. This was the perfect segue to my question of the week, and it is, again, aimed at myself. And my question for myself is, why am I like this? So...
Okay. Expand.
We're recording episode 6. So obviously, to everyone listening, that means there's 5 previous episodes that we've recorded. Kayla is doing a lot of the editing as far as the video, and then uploading that to our software to put it on the podcast. And then I'm listening back to write descriptions and try to work on making episode titles, and then sort of cataloging things away in my brain for social media posts, or, I want to pull that out for a whatever.
Yep.
But in doing so, I have to listen to myself.
It's weird, right?
It is not my favorite. I just listened back on... So, for everyone listening, we are getting a little bit ahead of what is being released because Kayla, as we've previously announced, like I'm involved in this announcement, Kayla is pregnant. So we want to make sure that we can be consistent in releasing, and in doing so, we've gotten a little bit ahead, so we've banked a few episodes, just so that it's feasible when baby comes.
Yep.
And also so it's giving me time to figure out how to use the video editing, because I may need to pick up a little bit of slack. But we'll figure all that out. But anyhow, I was listening back, I think what would be episode 3 now. Mm-hmm. And I was like, Kaylee, again, why are you like this? And it's so ironic that whenever I feel like I'm really making strides in my personal growth, that I get like too comfortable with that or something, or I'm like immediately reminded that there's still room.
For sure. Isn't it funny how you're like, oh, I'm doing so much better, and then you're like 2 weeks later, it's like, oh, no, I got stuff to work on. But what do you mean by that?
So like what you said, definitely feel like I'm doing so much better on a lot of things, and then it's like, it's like tap on the shoulder, like, but it's also not the best.
Well, yeah. Well, also we're just starting this podcast, and I feel like everyone can be that we're learning how we go and like interacting. We're progressing through that. We're figuring out our dynamics. Like, we're also like nervous in our own way. So like, I think we're doing fine. We just you'll see the growth as we continue with these episodes, I think.
It's true. And I mean more like at myself. Like, I feel like I've made a lot of personal growth, and I'm not doing some of my nervous behaviors. And then,
for sure.
Just like you said, how we both have different nervous behaviors, I'm like, there's mine. I clearly just haven't been nervous for a while.
Okay, what do you mean there's yours? So like, what is making you feel like, listening back, you feel nervous or you sound nervous?
Oh my God. Example one, I nervous chatter. I also nervous fidget. I think it was in episode 2. I heard myself knock something off of my desk because I leave my desk open so my feet can sit on the shelves. And I
Oh,
was like nervously fluttering my feet around and I like kicked a glass off. Nothing broke and it wasn't that loud, but I was like, oh God. What else did I do though? Oh, my nervous chattering. So there are multiple times in episode 3 where like you shared something and I buzzed right by it. And I was like, Jesus Christ, Kaylee, like like listen and respond because in my head I'm like, okay, we have like certain, we don't script this out, but we have like certain things we sort
bullet
of
point.
map out, right?
Yep.
Like talking points because we don't want to come in here just like
Well,
randomly, yes, just sputtering on about nothing, and we want to at least have like a path. It's just that we're not like overly dictating that. So anyhow, in my head I'm like, okay, this is what's happening after this like segment. And then, I mean, literally, I think you shared something about like a time that you cried and it was really sweet. And then I just like blasted right into the next subject. And especially the therapist in me was like, bro, you
totally.
sound so insensitive. And then it made me think about how, again, how much I appreciate you because I was like, if I didn't know Kayla well, like if I didn't know you as well as we do,
Hmm.
you didn't know that my nervousness was jabbering, it would I sounded like such a dick.
It, I didn't even notice that you like blew past it. Like, literally need to go back and re-listen to it now. But it's funny because you nervous chat, I think, and I nervous like a freeze. And so again, I think that's just working on our dynamics of like I need to like not be so awkward and like because when you talk, sometimes I'll have something in my head and then I'll be overthinking and then I'll completely forget it by the time you stop and then I'm just like silent. So sometimes you have to just jump back in because yeah, I think we both get nervous in our own way.
I know it's true. And I'm thankful for our dynamic. It's not like if both of us clammed up, it'd be really weird. And
Yeah.
then if we both tried to talk over each other the whole time, it'd be really annoying for people. Um, I'm realizing one thing that I can do that will help is to like look at you instead of looking at myself talk.
Mm-hmm.
Because then I feel more like I'm talking to you instead of analyzing the way my mouth moves and feeling uncomfortable about it.
Probably a good idea.
So that's been a little bit helpful. But I don't know. I've been listening. I'm like, I feel like my tone of my voice is weird. And I'm sure I know everybody when they record themselves, they're like, is that what I sound like? But I really feel like something about hitting record makes my voice drop an octave or like do something.
It's really strange how the voice changes. I honestly was really nervous about hearing my voice back because I feel like I'm very like whiny. But I will say it's not as bad as I was expecting, but it's still very weird to hear myself talk in my own ear holes because it's like, ooh, it sounds different coming out of the speaker instead of out from my brain. Like it's weird.
I
Is
know.
it
And
like
then
is this what you like to listen to me like this always? I sound annoying.
you're definitely not annoying and I like your voice. And I just, yeah, it just is what it is. But I think my focus today was to be like, we're going to take a deep breath and we're going to listen to the words that Kayla says.
I can already tell you feel like more grounded and like you're like taking a second.
I had a whole moment in the shower before I came up here. And I made myself listen to music on the way home instead of like calling somebody because what talking
Mm-hmm.
to people makes me like hyper.
Mm-hmm.
Um, what else did I try to do intentionally? I don't know. I think that was it. But I was like, okay, Kaylee, we're gonna phase 2 of getting better. It's gonna be for you to just take a breath because more than 10 people have listened to this already, so it's already feeling successful. And I'm just gonna embrace the nervies.
Yeah. Who
It is
cares?
what it is.
It is what it is.
I mean, it's never going to be as bad as our first episode. And not that our first episode was bad, but just to say, like, we've laid a foundation of, like, we just pulled the trigger and we're like, we're going to do this. And then every week we've learned more things and figured other things out and gotten more comfortable. So I'm like, well, I didn't get any, like, horrific feedback on that. So
yeah. Hey, we're just jumping in. I mean, the fact that from the time we talked about it to the time we decided we were going to do it to the time that we put out the first episode was honestly very rapid. And so the fact that we actually have figured it out up to this point, I'm like very proud of us. So we'll keep getting better. And I'm just happy to be doing this. So we're figuring it out.
Me too. I was thinking about that the other day because I had messaged two of my guy friends to like listen to the first episode, and they're like, oh, we should start a podcast. And I feel like so many people say that now, and I'm not shitting on them. They have like kids and lives and stressful jobs, and maybe they will, who knows. But I just was like, I'm glad that both of us are the kind of people that just want to talk, not just talk about something, but do it and just figure out how to make it work and put ourselves out there. And for everybody listening, I'm sorry that you can't see this, but Kayla and I, without planning, are both wearing very similar black tank tops.
We both just grabbed our shirts the same way.
We both logged in here and we were like,
I can't
we
do that.
match.
Look at us.
Oh,
we wear
so
a lot
fun.
of black. I think there's only been 2 times we haven't both worn black, but we'll see how that continues.
I know, it's true. I almost was like, I should wear a pop of color. Oh, this is another thing. Why am I like this question? Before getting ready to come up here to record with you, I spent probably 5 minutes like running around in circles in my room trying to figure out what to wear. Like completely denying the fact that 99% of the views that we've had of this have been listens on audio podcasts. And also I'm sitting here, and for, again, people listening, it's like shoulders up, head, like it's a fairly close angle. No one sees my pants. I was having like a whole outfit, and then I was like, I don't want to wear that because it's polyester. Why does that matter?
Oh my God.
I was having a full thing about like the texture that I wanted to sit on, and then the clothing that I wanted to wear. And then I just was like, girl, you've got to just put something on and go upstairs, because literally it doesn't matter. So there again.
Yeah, why? Well, I also have a why you like this, because I spent about 20 minutes scouring the house since we just moved, and I couldn't find my ring light. And so I'm like, it's been 5 weeks. I need to get better lighting, and so I found it. Kenny helped me find it. He helped me set it up. And so, again, whoever's listening to YouTube, or watching YouTube, like, thank you. My lighting is better, can't you tell? But to everyone else, it really doesn't matter.
You look glowing.
Thank you.
You could have just told everyone it was the pregnancy glow.
That's what I meant.
It's just, the ring light is just accentuating your natural glow.
Exactly. Well, speaking of intros and rants, and I don't know, I'm moving on to a rant because I can't forget it this time, because it happened a long time ago, and I need to tell you about it.
I'm so happy.
The people about it. And I need to ask, honestly, why are other people like this? Okay, so this is what happened. This was like a month ago, and Kenny had his motorcycle in the shop, and he needed to go get it. I was going to get dinner with my girlfriend, so I couldn't drive him up there. So he was going to take an Uber. It's like 30, 40 minutes away. He was going to take an Uber, get the bike, drive the bike home. Okay, that's the only thing that would work. You can't drive up there and then leave your car up there to drive. Okay. So he orders an Uber, and let me just set like the scene of our house and our driveway. Our house sits really far back on the lot, so the driveway is very, very long. It's probably like 70, 75 feet, foot long driveway. So the Uber gets there, we see him pull up. We're in the driveway already because we're already outside. The Uber driver pulls in, like comes front end first down our driveway, all the way until he's almost like about to hit us. And then he curves to the right. And I'm like, okay. But then he goes off the driveway and continues to pull off to the right onto our grass. And then we're like, whoa, 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 whoa. You're on the grass. Are you like losing it? Or like, are you okay? Like, can you just back up. That way you can back out the driveway. He said, okay, sorry. So instead of him actually just turning his wheel exactly how he came and backing up the driveway, he decides to do a Y turn and then go front and into the grass again. And when I tell you this man had to be on drugs, like he should not have been driving the car. For people watching, I'm going to show you, but for people listening, I'll try and explain this. Our driveway is here. He wide turns it all the way down here, and instead of coming up the driveway, he goes up our grass. He doesn't cut back over onto the driveway. And we have a huge like irrigation system up at the top of the road, and he was like literally inches away from hitting it, which would have cost us hundreds of dollars. And so he's literally on our grass driving up the grass. I'm like, what is this guy thinking? I went back and I screenshotted the security footage. So this may be post worthy because towards the end, as soon as I feel like he is going to hit our irrigation system, bitch mode kicks in on Kayla's side, and I'm running up the driveway like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, get off the grass. Because I was like so worried about it. And so he finally veers off, gets on the driveway, and I mean like 50 feet later, he's finally on the driveway. He pulls out, and then Kenny comes up there, and he's like, just cancel the ride. Yeah, because I'm like, don't get in the car with this guy. He's obviously on something.
That was my next question.
So no, Kenny canceled the ride. I don't know what he ended up doing. I think he just ordered a different ride, but I was like, do not get in this car with this man. And then so Kenny's like, yeah, no, like you just completely like drove your car over our lawn. I just canceled the ride. And he was so confused. He's like, you don't want to go? No. And then he waited there for like 2 minutes, and I was so sketched out. And then he finally left, and we canceled the ride. But it was like one of those moments where you're like, what just happened? Like it made no sense. The video was great. I will post the video on all of our social media because it's just like flabbergasting. So why are people like that, Kaylee?
No, that makes me feel better about saying like 500 times per sentence.
Oh, yeah. That's a very minimal problem compared to this.
At least I'm not driving over people. That's weird, man.
It was the weirdest thing. So, video to come. But yeah, that's my rant for the week because I was fuming by the end of it. I just felt so like what's it called? Like, not disgraced, but like, I'm losing the word for it. Vandalized? No, I just feel it felt like it felt like so intrusive on our lives. Like you're driving your car through our lawn when there's a driveway right there. Anyway,
I also think that in particular, driving things bother you. Driving faux pas bother you.
That's valid. Because I feel like I have this, it's definitely not correct, but I have this view that I'm one of the better drivers on the road. And I know people would disagree with me, Kenny, but I feel like I'm a great driver. And yeah, other people's driving kind of is annoying to me because I don't feel like they're doing it the way I would.
I love that so much. Oh no. Well, props to Kenny and you both for being like probably not the person we should get in the car with for 40 minutes.
Yeah, no, I would have been scared. So, yeah. Ubers, man.
I've had a few weird ones. I've not had anyone do that, but I've had some weird ones.
Strangest thing.
Okay. Well, if we're moving on from rants, I don't know how to like begin this story. Basically, it's called Let's Talk About Sue, which is my mom. Or Suzanne, if she's feeling bougie.
Love Suzanne. Yes, Suzanne
Yeah.
now.
Depends how she feels like introducing herself. Anyhow, so first of all, I wanted to talk about her getting a tattoo on here. And she's turning 60. I got a tattoo on my 30th birthday, which was last year, because it just felt like a fun way to kick off the decade. And my 30s and close the chapter on my 20s. Anyway, I can go on a ramble about that some other time, but I was like, Mom, you should get a 60th tattoo, because she doesn't have any. And just to give like a little background, I feel like she was pretty square her whole life. And not square of like being boring, but just, I don't know, living in kind of like boxy parameters, if you will, and just doing things like conservatively and suburban-y. I don't know. So I feel like in the last couple of years, she's sort of come into her like full personality, and she's kind of outside of the box, if you will, and living her best life for all intents and purposes. But I was like, dude, you're 60. Like, you should just get a tattoo. We won't get matching, because it's not a thing I'm ever going to do. But I was like, we could get a similar element so they could tie in and connect to each other, but they don't have to be the same. And at first she was absolutely not on board. And I have been wearing her down for like 10 months. It's just constant, and talking about where and what and how, and I was telling her you could get it to be a symbol of something. And I liked the person that did my tattoo a lot, so I said I already have the person lined up. And anyway, so we're finally here, and I was like, I should probably ask her permission to talk about her on here, even if I'm not gonna use her last name. So right before we started recording, I texted her to say, can I talk about you on the podcast and your tattoo? And I feel like I'm going to slowly post videos as she allows on social media that will help all of y'all understand Sue and her full personality. Her nickname is Executive Sue. More to come on that later. But just listen to this text that she sent me, because I feel like this sums it up. I said, I'm mentioning your tattoo on the pod, ... I won't use her last name. And she says, I was waiting for a, quote, mom nod, even if it's offensive, parentheses, which I can't imagine. If you're watching this on YouTube, I'm showing you the facial expressions she would be making. I'm trying to inflect them into my tone of voice. Then she goes on to say, I authorize you to give uninhibited disclosure without censorship for the benefit of women across the globe. Heart and a smiley face. I know she didn't know that I was going to read that verbatim, but just on the off chance that I did, I knew she wanted to use her top tier grammar, premier vocabulary, so that women of the world could know that she is very smart and very down to be made fun of.
She is a trooper for the women of the world. I love it. Oh my gosh.
Sue's out here changing lives. So that's just a brief introduction to my mom. I'm setting this up because I want to take videos of her getting her first tattoo, because she's very overly expressive, but from what I can tell, has like a very high pain tolerance. So it's going to be really interesting to see if she makes noise and like squawks, or if she doesn't notice it at all. And she's getting it on her ankle, so it's not nothing.
Yeah.
But it's also not the worst. So anyway, she has like no body fat. So, I mean, there's that too. There's not going to be a lot of like cushion between her bone and her skin.
Do you guys have the tattoo scheduled?
Yeah, she goes. So her birthday is on a Sunday. So we're doing that the Saturday before.
Nice.
And that's coming up in a couple weeks. And then I have my tattoo scheduled for about a month from now.
Nice.
And not that everybody else cares about all of it, but basically the shared element that we're going to have is a necklace that I wore at my wedding and she wore at hers. And the setting of it is, they're two diamonds. One's a little bit smaller, one's bigger, but they're the diamonds from her parents' wedding rings. Her dad had like a small diamond in his band, and then her mom's engagement ring. They both passed away when my mom was young. I want to say she was like maybe 2021. Anyhow,
Oh.
I never knew my grandparents on either side, but I liked that we got to have that. It was my something borrowed. And I think it's just kind of a neat like family thing.
That's sweet.
So it's not going to be like this big gaudy bougie weird necklace, but both of us have like flowers and things like that in our tattoo, and then that's just kind of woven in. So anyhow, introduction to Sue Magoo, and I'm sure we'll have other stories of her later in life, but I have a treasure trove of videos of her behaviors since going back at least 10 years. Just goofy ass shit that she's done. Which she's aloof and she doesn't know she's being recorded, but she's doing it for the laughs of me and my siblings. So I will run this past her again, but I think that the more laughs, the merrier. And I think that's probably where I get a little bit of my performative behavior from. So she'll be fine.
I love it. I need your mom to talk to my mom, or you need to convince my mom to get tattoos with me, because I've also been hounding her, but she's not taking the bait.
I mean, maybe my mom can talk her into it. Another backstory for everybody not listening. My family, not all my family, but at least my mom and I have like no problems joking about death. She worked in geriatric care. My whole life growing up, like, I don't know, we just recognize death being an inevitability. And it's not taboo in my house, essentially. So it's always been a joke. Like, she'll buy something and I'll be like, oh man, dude, when you die, I want that. Like, when she got me my wedding registry gifts, she got me or containers for flour and sugar, and she was like, oh, these would be great urns, you can put my ashes in here. So just stupid jokes like that all the time. So when she was talking about getting her tattoo, at first she was going to get it on her ribs because she was thinking she wouldn't want a lot of people to see it. She's like, oh, I'm 60. Isn't that weird? And then she eventually decided to get it on her ankle. And I told her kindly, but I said, I mean, you're not going to have it as long as I'm going to have mine. So, I mean, the probability of it is that you're going to have this, like, doing a like world-class tour, you're going to have it for 40 years. And that would be a lot.
Yeah.
And I said also, I mean, you're good looking now, but I mean, even in 20 years, I mean, you're not going to try to be like, I don't know.
I can still see her hip in 20 years from now.
I do too, but I don't think she's going to care if her tattoo looks a little bit faded when she's 80. It's like, gotcha. I think there's going to be other physical things going on that are going to cause you more distress than if your tattoo like sags a little. But ankles don't really wrinkle or get saggy. So, I mean,
a good spot.
I know. I think it'll hold up well. She's going to have to put sunscreen on it, which she's not going to do. But,
you
know, again, if it gets faded, I said, who cares? Like, who gives a fuck if you're 85 and your ankle tattoo is a little bit faded? Like,
yeah. Oh, I can't wait to see.
Be glad you're 85.
Exactly.
So, anyway, we will film the Sue Magoo tattoo adventure, and I'll share it for everybody. I'm glad she's getting it on.
Comes out, it may be perfect timing.
I know. I think it will be good timing. And the good thing too is that it's on her ankle, so I would have felt a little weird filming like her. You know, she's getting on her ribs or something like that. But this will be totally G-rated, so we're good to go.
I'm so excited.
One of these upcoming episodes, we'll talk about Boyd and Nancy.
I was going to say, speaking of birthdays, my dad is turning 70. So they're 10 years apart. Yeah, so my dad's turning 70 in a month. And, yeah, it's crazy. But, yeah, we'll definitely have a Boyd and Nancy conversation at one point.
And I know we weren't planning on talking about this, but parents aging is wild. Like, are you having these big decade ones? It's kind of been a weird thing.
It's been really weird. It's been jolting to think about. I feel like time is passing so quickly, and we're feeling older, and that's exciting. And you know, baby's on the way, that's exciting. But it's like, it's not just us that are getting older and the time is passing for. It's also like our family members who are older, and I'm just thinking like, how many years do they have with their grandchildren? And that's a weird, deep thought that I don't like to go down. So, yeah, it's time just goes so fast, and then you don't realize it until it's too late, and I don't want to do that.
I know. This is a weird pivot from what we thought we were going to talk about, but it feels appropriate. It's crazy. I think a lot of people that are in our age range are experiencing this, but I do also think we're a little bit earlier maybe than some other people in their 30s, because I know my mom had me, I want to say like 31, which is not late, but it's definitely not early. And I always felt like our parents, a couple of us had like older parents in our friend group, and then there were others that were younger. But it's just weird, like aging parents. And I know this is not a new thing and plenty of people have talked about it, but that like sandwich generation, being stuck between like elderly and aging parents, and then little kids. Because I think a lot of times for our parents, like they had kids younger and then their parents had them younger, stuff spaced out a little bit better. I don't know, dude. It's just, I see a lot of people that are not doing well at a lot of different ages. And it's amazing to me that Boyd has as much energy I hope I have as much energy as Boyd has at 70.
I think he has more energy at 70 than I have at 31. But I love it. He's still so active, and I'm so happy. And my parents are both active, but he's got like the spirit and personality for years and years to come, which I'm so glad. So, yeah, he's
so funny.
He's a character.
Your dad and my mom are both like super extroverts.
Yes.
It was astonishing at my wedding watching the two of them interact.
They could like put on a whole show for everyone.
I mean, they basically did.
Yeah.
I hope they don't mind me sharing, but we had a crawfish boil for my rehearsal dinner, and our wedding, for everyone listening, super low key, had it on the beach. But yeah, we did a crawfish boil for our rehearsal dinner because we thought that would just be fun, and a lot of people came from out of town, so it's a good like welcome to Florida Southern thing to do. And when you eat crawfish, you pull the tail off from the head, and then you obviously eat the tail meat out of the tail, which looks kind of like a shrimp for people that haven't had them. And then there's a lot of like juice and flavor in the head from how it boiled. And so you're supposed to like suck the juices out. Obviously, head sucking jokes came into play. And it was just like my mom and Boyd cracking dirty jokes. To be fair, I was definitely feeding my mom drinks because I wanted her to get drunk. It didn't really work, and drunk Sue and sober Sue are the same, so it doesn't matter. But anyway,
yeah,
it's just
they were cracking inappropriate jokes, which I love.
God. We're soulmates, and it's like our parents definitely have some similar behaviors and vibes.
For sure. You just mentioned crawfish, which brings me to a great transition on things that I don't like that other people like. Not everyone likes crawfish, but I know a lot of people love crawfish, and I just don't like it. That's all. I try every time I try to do it, but like the whole process of just getting a little tiny, like, you can't even like almost it's less than, it's like a fourth of a bite of food. And then it just feels dirty still, and I don't like sucking the head because it feels like I'm just sucking up dirt and grime and guts. Oh, it just makes me so uncomfortable.
Oh my God.
I don't know how people do it.
I know what you're saying. It's fair. It's a lot of work for a little bit of payoff. It's the vibe. It's the whole thing. It's like the boil's interactive. Yeah. But that's why, there's potatoes and corn and sausage. So I honestly feel like people fill up on the sausage and the potatoes.
You have to, because I was talking to a friend and he will eat like pounds and pounds and pounds and pounds of crawfish. And like you don't get full until like you have to eat a lot. And it's just, no,
I know.
Not my thing.
They are like, it's probably less, almost, depending on the size of the crawfish, it's probably less meat than a popcorn shrimp once you get it out.
1000% Sorry, I'm very passionate about this. I think it's less meat. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm almost positive.
Okay, so Kayla shitting on a Southern tradition is one thing that she hates that everyone else loves. Let's flip it. What's one thing that you love that a lot of other people think either wouldn't expect you to love or think is stupid or hate? I already have an answer for you.
If we're talking about food, I can think of two things, and that's candy related, and that's dots. For whatever reason, I don't know why y'all don't like dots, but the dots that you see in like movie theaters, I love them. And also black licorice. I do enjoy black licorice. I don't go out of my way, but I know a lot of people hate black licorice, but I would eat them if they were in front of me. Is that what you were thinking?
Oh no.
What were we thinking?
Harry Potter video games.
Okay, I almost said that, but we were like on the topic of food. So yes, recently I have been obsessed with the new Harry Potter Hogwarts Legacy video game. And not hardly anyone would expect that from me because I typically can't play video games because a lot of them are first person and I get really bad motion sickness. And so I'm not a video game girl. But I've been
I don't think that's why people don't expect. I think there's like 15 other reasons people don't expect you to play video games.
I want to hear what you
way before we get to, oh, Kayla seems like she has motion sickness if she plays first player games.
Okay, share your perspective.
I'm honestly having an out-of-body experience every time you talk about first-person games. Just that you have the language for that. I think because I think you did dweeby things kind of in high school.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, for those of you that listened to our episode about peeing in diapers.
That was dweeb. I was also in band and show choir, so there was a lot of dweeb factors going on.
Right, but as we discussed, show choir was cool at our school. Kayla just did jazz hands for people that aren't listening. A little bit of her show choir just came out. No, it's just you're so much cooler than me, and I feel like you're up to date on like cool things. It's fine. I know you're gonna argue, but this is my perception is that you're cooler than me, and you listen to cool music. And for everyone, whenever I get sick of my music, I always text Kayla and ask her for music because she always has good opportunities for me to find new things. And I just feel like your style is cooler than mine. Kayla's really good at dancing. One time when we were in New Orleans, she got into a dance-off with a cowboy. We can tell that story another time. I have photos of our going out outfits. I don't have any video of the dance. Everything you do is just cooler than me, and like hip-hop and like the antithesis of a nerd is what I feel like you are. Like, also professional and polished. And I know I'm going to piss off a lot of gamer people, but it's just like, I can't imagine gamers being people I want to be around. Having said that, I realize half of our friends play video games and really like them, and now I sound like I'm being rude, but it's just the idea of a gamer in my head has like, ooh, I'm going to make some people mad. Like, never sees the sun's skin, that's really greasy from eating too many pita pockets, and like
you're thinking of like the quintessential gamer boy, like gamer, like this is my life.
Yes, game is life. Like Fluffy doesn't work out, doesn't leave the basement of his mom's house.
Yeah.
So this is half my perception of people playing video games, and half I think is a pretty spot on like perception of people who play relentless amounts of video games, and then it's just coming out of your mouth is amazing.
I have a hidden, deep, weird side to my, as you call it, cool, polished, professional self, which I appreciate that. But yeah, Kenny would agree that I have a lot of, well, we both are weird in our own ways, but like weird, dweeby, like random tendencies.
It's what makes you a full person. I think most people probably do have that. We just don't know it. But thank you for representing good-looking gamers around the world. As I say all of this, I went through a pretty heavy Skyrim addiction like 10 years ago. which is like other level nerdy. I mean, I played it on an Xbox, so I wasn't out here, PC gaming, because that's another level of nerd, I feel. But anyhow, I'm not hating. I just don't get it. Anyway, okay, moving on.
Do you have anything that you hate that you feel like people love, or the opposite?
Yeah, I have strong feelings about like a
A lot of it.
specific, yes, several very specific things. Starting off with musicals, I fucking hate musicals. I hate them. I can't get past the fact that people are randomly singing. I don't think anyone ever breaks out into song. I hate that you're choreographing your singing and your dancing. It makes me want to die. The last musical I watched and liked was High School Musical when I was in high school, and I purely watched it for Zac Efron. I think I was like discovering my sexuality or something. I don't know. My mom paid for me to go see Hairspray with her last year as like a favor, and while Jason was travel nursing and I didn't have any other reason to leave the house.
No.
I mean, I admire what the people are doing because I can't do it. I recognize they're extremely talented. They're great at singing. I hate the forehead microphones that dingle down.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
theater microphones.
Yes.
Which leads me to my next thing. I fucking hate plays. I hate them. I don't like the way that the shit moves around on the stage. I don't like that there's an intermission where I go to the bathroom and just want to go out the exit. I don't want anything to do with it. I am so thankful that Jason isn't into it. I don't know a lot of guys that are anyway. He's probably equally as glad. Musicals and the theater make me want to kill myself.
That is so funny.
Again, to the thespians of the world, you don't make me want to die. What you're doing is hard and to be applauded. However, I will never come.
You're like Kenny. He hates musicals, and I don't think he'll ever go to a play with me. But like, I told him next time we're in New York, I want to go to like a play on Broadway. I don't like the idea of them because it definitely is cringy, but I will admit I am the person that gets sucked into them once I'm watching them, and I will be probably emotionally involved by the end of it. That's me for plays and musicals.
This started one of my deep high school traumas, which is when we all watched Rent. We can circle back on that one later when we're all together. But
We should circle back on that.
I just cannot. But you know what is interesting? I wouldn't think that I would have liked show choir because I did not watch Glee. Fuck that show.
Mm-hmm.
I did like seeing you guys at show choir, but I think too though it's like you're going to see people only dance and sing.
Yeah.
And they're up there and we're all saying we're dancing and singing. We're not up there like strolling through the halls and then all of a sudden we start being like do up and start singing. Like no one sings.
Yeah.
Or it's like your boyfriend breaks up with you and all the lights turn blue and then you're like I can't. I hate it. Okay. So I have feelings about that. I discussed this in a different episode. I do not like seeing photos of random children.
I agree with you.
And it's not that babies aren't cute. I will look at every puppy ever. Every dog. I want to know its name. I want to know how old it is. Where did you get it? What are its nicknames? How many poops does it have a day? All the dog stories. If I don't know and love you as a human adult, I don't want to know and love your human child.
Human children and children that are human and cats that from people that I don't know very well, I could leave that. I don't need that.
The only cat content I want is when they like get scared and fall off of things.
I agree.
When they, I don't know. I don't want to watch a cat die, but I wouldn't mind watching it like be surprised that it's still alive.
That's a good way.
So those are some things that I abhor that I feel like a lot of people really enjoy. Then if we're gonna flip this, a thing that I really love that most people find absurd polygamy shows.
Oh, you love them.
Sister Wives. There's another one called My Five Wives, which only aired for like 2 seasons and then cut off without explanation. I'm devastated.
That's sketchy.
Show me all the documentaries about Warren Jeffs, the dark side of polygamy. I am obsessed with. I have been watching Sister Wives. I have watched every single episode. I started watching it when it aired. I took a break because I didn't have normal TV. I got Discovery Plus, and I went back and I watched all that bitch. And the drama this season was amazing. I can't wait to know more. I need there to be spin-off shows. It's part of my larger love of just trash television. And to clarify for everybody, I will never watch Housewives of any city, state, county, or country. But polygamy, man, and I think it's like people watching of the highest degree. I don't care if parts of it are staged. It's not staged that this person married multiple people and had 1 million children. I just am fascinated. I'm fascinated by the religion that got them there. I have read stories of people that have escaped the Warren Jeffs, like fundamentalist Mormon. I have so many questions for them. I want to be friends with Janelle and Christine and Robin and Mary. Honestly, I want to be friends with all of them. I want to sit down and just have like a conversation with Cody because I feel like he would drive me crazy. All of their kids. How do you...
If any of you guys are listening, contact us so we can interview you.
Oh my God, I would freak out. I literally, this last season, was watching it. I was like, me and Janelle would be best friends. And then part of me was like, I should go hang out in Flagstaff. I'm not going to. I just love peeping in on people, and I love people's lives, and I can't fathom sharing my husband with someone.
No, that's so weird. That part is weird. And it gets weird.
And also the Mormon faith is really just interesting to me, and I have a lot of questions about how did the polygamy part fall off, and when did that split happen, because I thought that was a fundamental tenet. I'm sorry to people that are practicing Mormons, but I am obsessed with the South Park episode where they go over all of the story, obviously with their own parody. It's divine. Jason is appalled, but he knows that I love it, and I don't watch it when he's home because I don't make him suffer through that. But
a good guilty pleasure, I feel like.
I love polygamy shows. I've run out, so now I'm on 90 Day Fiance, but it's just what possesses people to do that? And I just feel like there's got to be some ego, even if you're the best guy, to have that many wives and 20 plus kids. It feels like you're setting men up to become egomaniacs, even if they didn't start off that way. I mean,
that's probably why it happens, because they get raised in that society and that's all they see, and then so that's what they think is normal, and then they grow into it.
So interesting. I'm just fascinated. What I'm not fascinated by is polyamory on TikTok. I have no interest in hearing about your polyamorous lifestyle. But if you have a religion that dictates that you're supposed to have multiple wives so you can reach a higher level of salvation, so that you can, when you die, each have your own planet, give it to me. I want to listen.
I love it. It's a good one.
I know. People watching. I'm obsessed with it. But I recognize that it's probably garbage television, and I should stop subscribing to Discovery Plus because I get sucked down a lot of rabbit holes. But yeah. So I think that's the end of what we are going to chat about.
Yes. Do we have any feedback, since it's been a couple weeks since we've actually been live?
Yes. We don't have any official fun videos to show you, which we still, full disclosure, need to figure out how to do screen share so that we can play a video on here and capture the audio in our own reactions. New feature we have set up is we set up a voicemail account so people can call in and leave us voicemails, and we can figure out again how to play those. So That number is listed in the show notes wherever you're listening, as long as our platform is performing properly. And we have it on YouTube, and it's also on our social media accounts. So feel free to call or email or direct message us, or however you contact people on TikTok. I don't understand that platform. But I did get some text messages from people that I blasted in my contacts list to listen, because it was like whoring myself out for views. Not really, but I was definitely begging a little bit. So my friend Rebecca, hearkening back to our first episode where I talked about, I don't know why, that I still have underwear from high school. I thought that I was the only nasty person in the world that didn't throw away their clothes. Turns out I'm not. So Rebecca messaged me and said that she also has underwear from high school. And
Is Rebecca around the same age as us, or
a couple years older?
Okay, that makes it even better.
I know, even better. I mean, I don't know if this is more of a shout out to us for being like thrifty, like money savers, or if my Target thongs are just made of 100% pure polyester that will never disintegrate, and probably why people complain about like plastics in landfills. There's a lot going on.
That's cool.
Any perverts listening, I'm not going to send them to you. Don't ask. But we have apparently maintained underwear, and it's not just me. I'm very happy about it. I'm also sorry to anyone if my pervert comment offended you. It's because of my last job.
What else? You said you had another one, right?
Yeah, I'm trying to look back. Oh, okay. So I also messaged two of my guy friends from my old job, Jordan and TT, aka Tyler. Dirty Turdy and Tyler. Okay. Jordan is one that I referenced without his name, making fun of how he eats. But now I'm going to use his name. So I messaged both of them because I was like, these two guys are ruthless, and they're also guys. So I know they're not going to lie to me. And again, our last job, like, is just no filter. So I was like, I'm going to message them and just be like, y'all go listen to this. So I send it to both of them. Tyler picks up on immediately what's going on. Jordan is grumbling, which is what he does anytime I tell him anything. And he's like, I don't want to do that. And I was like, just fucking listen. Just do me a solid and listen to this. He messages me later and is like, so I listened to your podcast for 5 minutes and then realized it was your podcast. And I was like, this dumb, except he's not even dumb. Honestly, it's super endearing. It's really endearing that I told him that he should listen to something that he had no idea what it was about and has a name such as Nonsexual Soulmates. And he was so nice that he actually like took the time out of his life to listen to it, thinking it was just random shit on the internet. So shout out to Jordan. You're kind of a blonde, but you're not. And you're a true friend. So I'm simultaneously making fun of you for being an airhead, ding dong, and for also being a great guy. So congratulations and thank you.
Oh my god!
And they both
this, please share that reaction too.
I know. He doesn't use any social media, so I'll have to make him like record a voicemail, and it's going to be this exactly. Fuck you, Kaylee.
That's perfect. That's all we need.
That's exactly what it's going to be. But they both gave me like not horrible feedback.
Amazing.
So I know, I was like, damn, these two are ruthless. Jordan has told me to pull my tampon out and get to work before. So I really
I see how the relationship is. Okay. I like it.
He's older than me, and I call him my younger brother.
Nice.
Because I'm definitely more mature. But we spent hours and hours and hours and hours in a car together going to see people at our last job. And there's just something about like going into scenarios where you could die and knowing you might die and then trusting that person to have your back that I feel like you just can't you can't have, there's no room for bullshit. So anyway, we have had a delightful sibling relationship, and I just still can't believe that he didn't know what he was listening to. Anyway, I'm sure I'll make
Well, I'm
fun of
glad
him more later.
I'm glad he listened. I'm glad everyone else who's listened has listened. And if you're still listening, thank you for still listening and sticking with us till the end, because we appreciate everyone being here.
We do. Again, I know I'm not special or cool, and I'm not doing anything that's going to change the world, but it's so fun making this community and sharing jokes and laughs, and I hope we can just have like a big pool of people to have inside jokes with, because that's literally my dream.
I love it.
And with that, I think we've concluded episode 6.
Yes, ma'am. 6 it is.
Social work math over here, man. Kayla's going to keep us on track. It might be episode like 4 for me 10 times, but Kayla will keep it going.
Yep. But again, so non-sexual soulmates everywhere. YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. And if you're listening to this on the podcast app, a rating and review goes like so far on this app. A rating for sure, but even a review is like 100 times better. So we would love and appreciate everyone, even if you are our moms or dads, leave a review.
I reviewed us myself, so
I saw that.
I haven't stooped below self love and self support, because
I saw that. I liked
it. Our goal, listen, guys, it would just be nice if this could pay for itself.
That's really all we're trying to do here.
In my wildest dreams, I'm a millionaire, but in my like sincerest hopes, I just want this to fund itself so I can keep talking to my best friend from Texas.
We'll make it work. But yeah, I guess until next time. Next week.
Until next week, my friend. I will talk to you later.
Love you, bye.
Okay, love you, bye.